Good evening. Today is August 26, 2018, and this is the week ahead update, the trading plan for the week ahead. So, a lot of interesting things happening here. So, first of all, we'll start with British pound, Japanese yen, as we always do. The fractal line prices, you see the fractal over here and here. So, price is already broken outside of price, and the moving averages are outside of the fractal line. So what this usually indicates is that the trend is very strong. However, right now this is not a good entry, so you really want price to come back some before we start to look for buy entries. So this is essentially what we're looking for. And if so price right now, that is about 70, 80, 75, 76 pips away from the 128. So you want to give this some time before you look to get in this particular pair. And then British pound, Australian dollar is interesting, right? So you have a fractal line here, and then it's currently moving up, right? So in terms of the moving averages, it's in an uptrend. So in order to take this trade, you want price to close back above this 34 to look for long trades on that. And to me right now, that's acceptable given kind of where we are. You know, if you get a close right above this green 34, then that's an acceptable. Sorry about that. That's an acceptable trade. Just make sure that the candle is way up here, right? It probably needs to be like right up in there for you to want to take that trade. So, and it may continue to. The goal here is going to be to get to break even, and if I do take this trade, then it's going to be to see if it'll break outside of this fractal. If it gives me a break even, I'm cool with that as well. So, but my goal on this will be to see if we can get a break of this fractal. This is great. Australian dollar, Japanese yen. Your fractal line here, fractal line here. You have a moving average outside of the fractal lines. You have price way up there. So what you want ultimately is price to pull back. I mean, this is a great setup. This may be one of my favorites this week, actually. So Australian dollar, Japanese yen looking really strong. And for that trade, I would look at 160 in terms of target. Euro Australian dollar is looking very strong too. You do have a break outside of the fractal on this moving average, and then you've got a moving average there. So what this may end up looking like, let me just measure here. So from here to here is what? Yeah, that's too much. It's a little, I like the setup, but that also means that the price will have to come back down into the fractal and then take off. So I don't like this setup as much as I like the Australian dollar, Japanese yen. And then British pound, Swiss franc looks very good for a short. Obviously, you're just going to wait for the price to pull back in an acceptable range. And then you automatically going to be looking for a short right now. And go for 160 on that. Obviously, is more in this trade, but go for 160 should that opportunity come about. And stretch that out. U.S. dollar, Canadian dollar. Don't know that I would take. Yeah, that's not a lot of pips to the downside. I'm just gonna make that there, do that so that you all can see exactly what I'm saying. I mean, that's 90 pips to the downside. If you want to take that, and the goal be to get to break even and see if it continues to push, maybe you take that trade. But otherwise, it's one that there are better opportunities in my opinion. U.S. dollar, Japanese yen is a favorite this week. So you can see this clearly broken out. Right, the moving averages outside. Both moving averages are outside. You get a pullback here right now. Yeah, you get a pullback there. Definitely be looking to buy that, and with a target of 160. So right now, my two favorites: Australian dollar, Japanese yen, US dollar, Japanese yen. I'll favor the US dollar, Japanese yen over the Australian dollar, Japanese yen. And then Euro US dollar is interesting too. Very nice breakout. And what we're going to be waiting on is for the price to pull back and take off again. This is another 160 potential. So be on the lookout for that. And then British pound, US dollar, I really like. Let me see. Let me measure right now. Let me see. It's very close to. It may actually be within 20 pips. Let me see. Yeah, it's very very close. It looks like it's gonna get there. I mean, this may be a trade when I send it out that you all can take right now. Yeah, it's within 20 pips right now. So just the closer to this line, the better. But you can take this trade at this point, and then we're gonna look for 160 on it. And lastly, because I have the pair on here, I'll talk about it. New Zealand dollar, US dollar. You take a long here, and we're talking about pips there. That's decent. I like it actually. New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Keep in mind this pair doesn't move. Like it doesn't like take off like the other pairs that we usually have on there. I think I looked at that because somebody asked me about it. But my favorites this week, let's talk about them again. British pound, US dollar. Right now you can take that trade. US dollar, Japanese yen is a favorite. And then Australian dollar, Japanese yen is a favorite. We'll see what comes about on my other, like my what do I call it? My go-to British pound, Japanese yen. But that's it for the week. So let's let the market come to us. Don't try to force something that's not there. And keep your selection tight. I know I cover all these pairs, but you do not want all of these on the screen, and you do not have to trade. You don't have to try to be in everything. It's not going to work out too well for you. It's going to cause more frustration than anything. I hope you all had a great weekend. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Once again, this week, tomorrow, I'm going to be unavailable probably until about 3 p.m. And then on Wednesday and Thursday, I'm going to be traveling for family. So schedule around that, if you will. Let's get some pips. Let's lock in. Keep the process going, and let's get some pips this week. All right? Cheers.